Hey everybody, I'm Steve. This is Cooking's Not That Hard. It's a stay-in day today. We've got some football on the TV. Wanted something that is hearty, comforting. It's winter time, so we're gonna make a bolognese sauce. I got the ingredients laid out here. It is, I'm sure people are gonna say, oh, some of it's not traditional or whatever, but I'm not Italian, so I can kind of do whatever I want. For the meat, we're gonna be using this meatloaf mix here. Very simple, beef, pork, veal. If you wanted to go all beef or do like a beef and pork mixture, you can definitely do that. Optional, but we're going to be starting with pancetta as well, help brown the vegetables. I'm going to be using a food processor because I have one. It's one of the benefits of getting married is you get a lot of stuff that you can then use to make your culinary experience easier. If you don't have one, totally fine. Just going to go for a pretty fine dice on the vegetables. Let's get started.
We'll start with the onion here. We're just going to do a rough chop on these so it doesn't wear out the food processor. Again, if you don't have one, we're going to do a much finer dice than this, but we'll just get that into pieces. I'm also using a shallot to bring some additional flavors. That's optional if you just want to use some extra onion or whatever the case may be there. We're going to do the same thing to our celery, just roughly chop that. Looks like one got away there. It's also important to pour yourself a beer, especially if it's on a Sunday. I have a nice stout there next to me in our NFL glass because we're watching the games as well. There you go, you're not getting away from me. Now we're going to bring in our carrots to complete what the Italians call the sofritas, which is the carrot, celery, and onion. I'm using baby carrots so I don't have to peel them and I can use the rest of the bag for snacks. Pop those in there, just chop them in half should be good. Now we're going with 6 cloves of garlic here. We're going to smash each of the cloves. That's going to allow us to peel off that paper skin and get rid of that. 6 garlics might seem like a lot, but it's not. It's time to party. Like, let's live a little. Have some garlic here. Get your garlic crusher. Just crush that into a bowl if you don't have one. Again, just a fine dice on that will be good. It's all going to kind of melt together in the sauce anyway. Speed through that. It's not going to be quite this fast because I sped this footage up, but it will be that easy. Now we're going to go over to our food processor. We're going to start with our onion and shallot, dump that in. Really the key here is just not to overload it so we get a good fine chop on it. I'm going to put the top on. Come on. You can do it. I don't know what's wrong there. There we go. Almost got it. Almost got it. Almost got it. And through the magic of video editing, now we're good to go. Probably should have moved my hand here, but again, this is not a videography channel. This is a cooking channel, so bear with me here. And this is what we're aiming for, like a nice, really fine chop on those vegetables. Get your rubber spatula out. We'll get that into a bowl. Now we're going to do the same thing to our carrots and our celery. Same thing as before, we don't want to overload the food processor and run out the motor there. Come on, get on there. All right, a little bit better hand placement this time. We're just going to pulse this until it's the same consistency as the onion and the shallot. Should look something like that. Go ahead and get that into a bowl. Now we're going to get our Dutch oven out or any sort of heavy bottom pot. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil to get things started. And now we're going to add our pancetta. You want to add the pancetta while it's still cold because we're trying to render out this fat. It's going to help coat our vegetables and everything. So we're just going to bring that up relatively slowly. Just give that a quick stir. And just keep going a little bit until it's browned and you're starting to see that fat render out. Now we're going to add in our vegetables. Dump those all in there. I'm going to give that a stir to coat everything in the olive oil and the rendered out fat. And we're just going to let those vegetables brown. We're also going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt here. This is going to help draw out the moisture that's in those vegetables and help the browning process along. I'm going to stir that occasionally, letting the browning process happen. After a little bit, we're going to add our garlic. Stir that in as well. Add a bit more salt. Just help draw out that moisture again. You see the steam coming up, that's all that water that's in the vegetables evaporating. Now we're going to look, we are starting to see some browning happening at the bottom. This is going to be a great time to add our meat. Give that one final stir. I'm going to make some space in the pan. Now we're going to add in our meat mixture. Flatten that out a little bit just to make sure we get as much surface area covered as possible. This is also where we're going to add some additional seasonings. Let's add a bit more salt, some black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, some Italian seasoning, and some crushed red pepper flakes. Just mix that all together. Continue to mix that as the meat browns and more moisture evaporates from the vegetables. All right, next up we're going to add our tomato paste. This is 2 of those small cans. It's probably more tomato than you're going to see in most of these recipes. The Bolognese technically isn't a tomato sauce. A lot of people think it is, but it's mostly a meat, wine, stock sauce with a little bit of a tomato element. That being said, I think it adds a lot to the sauce, the sweetness, the kind of richness. The tomato paste has a pretty deep flavor there, so I'm using a bit more. If you want to use 1 can, that's totally fine. Truth be told, I opened up 2 cans to shoot this, and you have to use it once you open the can. I'm going to let that all incorporate. You're going to see it's going to turn a much deeper red color because of the tomato paste. And then we're going to go in with our wine. We're going to let this cook down for a little bit. You can see this footage is sped up. I think I'm making fun of Josh Allen here, even though he actually had a pretty good game. But regardless, let that cook down, let the ingredients continue to come together. Then we're going to go in with the wine. The wine I'm using here is a Beaujolais, which I know is a French wine, but the guy at Wegmans was pushing it pretty hard, and it tasted good. It wasn't, it was a relatively light wine for a red. If you want to use a Cabernet or something, that's totally fine. Don't go crazy with the bottle. This was $13, I think. I think anything that like $10 to $15 range will be fine. We're going to start with about a quarter of that bottle. Mix that in there. We're also going to use a full box of this chicken stock. We're going to amp up this flavor even more by using some of this Better Than Bullion. I have a chicken one and an Italian seasoning. We're going to add 1 spoonful each. Keep in mind, these are very salty, so if I could do this again, I probably would use a box of low sodium chicken broth instead of the full sodium one. Then just stir everything together and bring it to a simmer. Once we're at a simmer, we're going to partially cover and reduce the heat, let that cook for a few hours. It's also important we try the wine to make sure it's not poison. Like I said, this ended up being pretty good. I'm not really a wine guy, but I did end up finishing that bottle. Cheers. Now that that's cooked for a few hours, let's give it a stir. We're just going to do this periodically as it continues to cook down and come together. Don't forget to taste and adjust seasoning as needed. This has probably been cooking for about 3 hours at this point. You can see it's reduced in volume. It's a lot thicker at this point, so give it another stir, and now we're going to work in our cream. We're going to do about half of this container of heavy cream here. Let's get all that in. Stir to incorporate. Make sure we scrape down the sides there too. That's very thick. It's like tomato paste in consistency. And that's going to really help the flavor of the sauce. All right, continue to taste for seasoning. Now it's time to get a pot of boiling water on the stove. You can see my cat in the background there causing some sort of mischief. Make sure to salt your pasta water. Once that's boiling, we're going to add our desired amount of pasta. I'm using about half this box of Mezze Rigatoni. This is one of my favorite shapes of pasta. It absorbs the sauce great. And just give it a quick stir to make sure nothing's sticking, and let it cook. This next step is definitely optional, but it's going to be one of the things that really sets your dish apart from standard home cooking. We're going to add some of this sauce to a pan. We're going to put in some butter. Never claimed this was healthy. Stir that in. It's called mounting. And then we're going to add in half of the pasta. We're going to do this for each dish that we're making. And we're going to let that pasta finish cooking in the sauce. Let it all come together in there. And it's going to really amp up the flavor and make your dish stand out. Having some of that pasta water in there is good as well. That's going to help the sauce stick to the pasta. Full transparency, this isn't a step I always do, and if I weren't shooting this for YouTube, I might not have done it this time. But when my wife had this, she said it was probably the best version of the sauce that I've made, and I think this last step is why. Being able to finish it in the sauce like this, even though I burnt my hand there. Give it a quick toss if you can. It's not necessary, but it helps aerate it a bit more, and I do think it looks cool. And now it's time to plate it up. Get it into a nice white bowl there. Make sure you get all of that sauce. You can add some more sauce as well. We're going to garnish it with some Pecorino Romano cheese. A little bit more cheese never hurt anybody. And the last step here is I have a blend of parsley and crushed red pepper flake that we're going to finish for garnish for a little bit more color and texture, flavor at the end. And that's the finished product. Time to give it a taste.
Oh yeah.